For this special edition of The Breakdown ahead of Wednesday's massive Champions League game between Arsenal and Bayern Munich, we thought it was the perfect time before a game of this size to sit down and analyse the main contenders for the Champions League this season in the company of Owen Hargreaves, Jolyon Lescott and Joe Cole. To kick it off, fellas, what's the best Champions League game that you've been involved in as either a player or a pundit?
Good question.
Let me go first, because he's played in finals, so mine ain't going to top theirs. So let me get mine out of the way. It's just my first experience in the competition would be special. Manchester City's first game in the competition as well. So Napoli at home.
First ever game?
Yeah,
Manchester City's
first ever game in Champions League. And I'd heard all the stories about the music. You were there, bro. The song, when you hear the song and it's like, oh, okay. And then you go out and you hear it and it's like, ooh. And I remember looking over to the bench and seeing Gal Clichy and he was like giving me the nod to say, it's special, innit? And I was like, yeah, this is the occasion that you want to be a part of.
Is it hairs on the back of the neck job when you hear the anthem and you're lining up for the first time?
Yeah, when you're lining up and you hear it, it's a special moment.
What about you?
Probably my first one, first big one. We had a suspension. I played the Champions League semi-final against the Galacticos. And Figo was playing, and I was like on a U team contract at Bayern. And I remember looking across at Luis Figo in the white Real Madrid kit, hair slicked back. And I remember looking across thinking, I'm in trouble here. And I never forget, the game kind of happened. And you're just out there with these guys who are like your idols and your heroes. And I remember thinking, like, you're out here now you gotta go for it. And we end up winning the game and getting to the final and winning. But I remember that first one, like, you have all this doubt as a young kid playing against your heroes, and then you're out there with them and you think, right, I gotta have a go here. And that moment probably changed my whole trajectory of my career to like believe in myself a little bit more and not doubt yourself. Because when you get in the game, you gotta go for it. And I don't think he would have known, obviously he wouldn't have known who I was. And they probably underestimate you a little bit. So that moment helped me think, right, you can go for it.
I can say this with great confidence, that you are a man who knows how to enjoy himself and maximise situations.
Where's this going?
I don't think anybody has enjoyed themselves on a platform more at a Champions League final than you did the night Chelsea won it.
That's a great shout.
That's when you're supposed to enjoy that.
Yeah, do you know what? That was amazing, wasn't it? Because yes, we're just coming out of COVID. I was like just so engrossed in the game, but I was with the fans and I had such a good time. Literally, when the final whistle went, I've jumped from the gantry down into the fans, got lost. I'm with my pals. My son's there. We're all dancing and singing. I've got my son on my shoulders and I've got Leo. Get back, we're live in 30. And it was like Kevin Costner from Whitney Houston. One of the bouncers, this big Portuguese geezer, just grabbed me out of the crowd, dragged me back up to the, and then I had to go back on air and try and compose myself. But yeah, you're right, Fletch. In terms of enjoyment, that was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing.
I learned a lot about you that night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought if you're going on a night out with Cole, you get a good night's sleep the night before, just based on what I saw that night on the platform.
Yeah.
Let's have a look then at some of these contenders, because there are lots of contenders in the Champions League, and we're going to start with Arsenal. That's the table as it stands. Bayern Munich at the top against Arsenal. That kind of emphasises how big this game is on Wednesday night. We'll do Arsenal first. The point's been made, Jolyon, that they might well have the best squad in the Champions League in terms of depth this season, Arsenal. And of course, the big strength, if they are going to win it, is they're going to do it on the back of this relatively impregnable defence and a goalkeeper that doesn't concede too many either.
Yeah, I would strengthen that case in regards to the squad. I just think their replacements are so alike their team. Like, I think everyone, there's stronger teams, stronger players, but when them teams are making changes, is it the same level? Like, there was doubts over Nani, wasn't there? And then Saka gets injured, Nani comes in and shines.
Yeah.
He gets injured and Saka's back, and it's like, you've got a like-for-like quality. Whether the styles or the profiles are slightly different, but their team isn't affected. And we were speaking about that earlier, weren't we? Like, if they miss any player, I don't think it affects them. I think if, like, Bayern miss Harry Kane, City miss Haaland, there's... You're slightly questioning, are they as fearful?
This is just some clips of kind of them defensively. And I think you think about, they've not conceded a goal yet. Do you know, so I think Remember that when Chelsea won it, you know, a 1-0 tight game. I think that's how you win it. Barca didn't win it last year with playing that crazy. I think with this back four and the keeper, I think you can win it.
Yeah, we speak a lot about that, don't we?
Yeah.
I don't think you can be
shootouts.
You can't make it a shootout. We've seen coaches and teams try to do that. You have to be a more solid, well-rounded team.
I think Arsenal are the favourites for exactly that reason, not conceding goals. And I do liken them to our Chelsea side in that. And there's a lot, obviously, the back four and everyone's getting a lot of pats on the back. But I watch how hard the front boys work as well. Gyökeres, Saka, Madueke, Rice, Ubamendi, like, they're a team. Like, they've been put together slowly and surely by Arteta, and they're just I make them favourites now, Arsenal. I think they're the best side, isn't it?
One thing they do very well in the Premier League is score set-piece goals. Are those set pieces even harder to defend for some of these teams in the Champions League because they're not used to facing them with the regularity of the Premier League side?
That's a good question.
Good question. Yes and no, Fletch. Yes, it's harder for them to deal with. Will be a lot dependent on the referee. You know, I think the referees in the Premier League are all
more lenient.
They're more lenient, Julian, but they've obviously they work together as a unit. So what's acceptable is more consistent. Do you know what I mean? So
they're more likely to be penalised for the blocking.
All the blocking and things like that. Away to a Bayern Munich, away to a PSG, away to a Real Madrid, pressure's on. If you get a certain type of referee, and he's just having a day where anytime that comes, I'm stopping it.
Do you know what's remarkable, Joe? I think the size of Arsenal out of nowhere. You know, before we talked about all the little technicians we played against, the Cazolas and the Wilshires and the, you know,
Nasri's,
the Fabregas, all them. Now all of a sudden, this Arsenal team, they're all big. Calafiori, Saliba, Gabriel, Declan, Gyökeres, even Marino. Do you know what I mean? I think all of a sudden now, even though if they can't play that perfect football, physically
can mix it.
They can mix it.
They look like a team of men, don't it? That's the biggest compliment you pay them. There's no way you could rattle them, you know, or you can see them throwing the toys at the pram. Discipline's not a problem. All of the aspects of maturity now you can apply to the Arsenal team. And I've been critical for many years of Arsenal, but you get a lot of stick from, you know, from fans. I think you're digging them out. You only say what you see. Now what I see is a team that's the complete finished article, and I make them favourites.
So let's have a look at the team that's kind of above them at the moment, Bayern Munich, only in terms of order because the records are virtually identical. You can't talk about Bayern Munich without talking about Harry Kane, can you? So I mean, when we talk about the strengths of a team, he's pretty much right now as good a strength as you can have. I mean, he's in such good form, scoring goals in every competition.
I mean, let's just see some of those clips. I mean, the thing is as well, I think with this, because Harry can drop a little bit deeper, Luis Diaz has been an absolute remarkable. You know, Harry's creating, you got Elise, you got Diaz, you got Gnabry's been amazing in that number 10, and obviously with Harry's finishing. I just think I don't think Bayern have Arsenal's depth, but I think their starting 11 is better, in my opinion.
What we slept on with Harry when he went there was the type of players around him, your Gnabry's, your Elise's, the players who come in. He's got pace and power all around him. It's like if you give Harry Kane, who do you want? What type of players do you want around you around you to thrive? Everybody in that Bayern Munich team would be that type of player around them.
And they've got Musiala and Alphonso Davies to come back, who are those types as well.
They'll improve. The reason I don't think Bayern Munich will win it, and that's seeing as the reason I'll flip with Arsenal, not Bayern Munich. Hansi Flick's style of play is still there, isn't it? With Kompany, that high line, which seems to be now the way that
he's manufactured it a little bit. It's not as aggressive.
Because
I think he learnt from their mistakes because they was doing it last season and they was
too open.
And they're making stupid mistakes where I haven't seen that. And I don't mean I haven't seen the mistakes. I haven't seen that aggressive line. He's still aggressive with it, but it's more respectful of the opposition.
He's a young coach. He's learning. I think, Jolene, I think you nailed it. He learned from
Vinny's
last season.
Vinny's a fast learner. We know that Vinny would have learned that and gone, that doesn't work. Regardless of, we've got Harry Kane, we've got Elise firing. There's going to be teams that are going to want to expose that and know how to.
The last time they won it, Hansi Flick was in charge, right? And that was, 10 years ago now, maybe... No, 5 years, 6 years ago.
COVID. It's COVID.
COVID, right.
It was the tournament in Portugal.
Right. So I think the whole club, I know he might be adjusting it, but every time I've watched them, I look at their line and think, that's 5-10 yards further forward than I would be comfortable with. And they need to be. I know Vincent Kompany might have adjusted a little bit, but I still think against the best sides, I think they'll get exposed.
One thing they have done in numerous Champions League campaigns, is been the best in the group stage as it was, and now the league phase this time. They've gone through quite a few group stages where they didn't lose and scored a ton of goals, and then when they get to the knockout stage, they always find someone too good. There's always an Achilles heel that pops up later in the competition.
That's fair.
Is that a concern for this team, or might they avoid that?
I think that's fair. I don't think they have the best squad in the competition, and I don't think in the past 5 years they've had the best squad to win it. I think there's been better teams, better equipped. You look at Cities and Liverpool's, and I think when they've played those teams, they've lost, and probably because they've been better. But I think this season, I think Vinny's adapted from what he learned from last year. I think the starting 11, Luis Diaz has been amazing. So I think
Tar's been good as well.
Tar's been good, on a free from Leverkusen.
And I think that's why they've adopted their line and changed it, because he's not someone that wants to be on the halfway line and has the recovery pace of Upamecano and Kim. So it's like we need to adjust it slightly for the benefit of him and the benefit of the team, and they are definitely benefiting.
What about them? Because they're never on anybody's list.
Yeah.
When the tournament starts, they've been to 2 finals. I mean, they were blown away by Paris Saint-Germain, but they gave Manchester City a really good game. There's a lot of experience in the group. I know they've got a new coach now, but they've got the knack. Inter Milan, they're a very, very good Champions League team.
Yeah, but then you need that one guy. When you get to the final, you need someone that's the match winner. There's no one that stands out as a match winner.
Yeah.
Lautaro?
Not in a final. I think he's a very, very good player. Definitely like top tier. But then there's like, not an ego, but there's a belief, like a Yamal, like a Ronaldo, like a Messi, like a Mbappe, Haaland, that just go, I'm going to be man of the match today.
I think the only thing that works in their favour is they have like a really experienced squad.
Yeah, that gets you to the final.
And they'll hang in there when it gets difficult.
So if you said to me, are they going to get to the final? I'll be like, yeah. But then when they was in there, I would look at whoever they were facing, I would look at the one individual in the other team and go, he's going to win this game.
Last word before we finish.
Owen's smiling at me.
No, I like it. You're writing people off.
Brilliant. How much are we looking forward to this game on Wednesday? Arsenal, Bayern Munich, top 2, fantastic teams. I mean, they've got a bit of history as well. It's not often been good history for Arsenal by any stretch of the imagination, but how much are you looking forward to?
Do you know what's remarkable, right? You think 2 years ago they played and Arsenal were the better team at that time, and Bayern went there and beat them on experience alone. And I think now, if I look at the evolution of this Arsenal team, from that moment to last season to now, how quickly they've progressed and become Premier League and Champions League kind of contenders, I think this is a completely different game for Arsenal. I think Bayern will, not fearful, but they'll have respect. Yeah. Whereas I think last time they thought, we'll beat you with our experience. I think now Arsenal is like, these guys are the real deal. Yeah, I echo that. They come in there with a different. We're on the same, not the same level like as the club, but our team is as good as yours. Where before it was like you're coming into town and you're Champions League winners with a lot of history. Where Arsenal ain't fearing that. And Harry Kane back in North London against Arsenal, Champions League. You don't need anything else. Yeah, there'll be a lot. Yeah, I agree with the boys. I think Arsenal win the game, but I think. Yeah. No, I don't know. I wasn't that confident in them winning. I just think there's less fear. It's a great game. Yeah. Harry Kane coming back to put that little bit of spice on it. I just think Arsenal are so good at the moment, and it's really hard for me to say, Fletch. Really hard. Well, that's Eberechi Eze, then the 4th player in history and the first in the Premier League era to get a hat-trick in the North London derby, and that actually was the 400th hat-trick in the Premier League era. Just so happens that I'm with 2 gentlemen between them have 15 match balls from the Premier League. Yeah. You waiting for me to say who's got one more, aren't you? I'm interested now. No, you know how many hat-tricks you've got. Yes, anyway. Considering he was released by this club at 13 and the journey he's been back on and the fact he almost could have gone to Tottenham in the summer as well, what a day for Eberechi Eze. What a day, what a player, eh? I mean, he's quite unique, isn't he? He's lovely to watch, a lovely flow in action. In all of his goals here that we're going to see, it's very similar the way he runs onto play. He's always just past the midfield, but he doesn't want to get there too early and be picked up by a defender. And he's always in that position where he's very difficult to mark. I mean, let's have a look at him here, Wayne. We can talk as we go. But you see this position he finds himself in. He just gets the right side of the midfield, slows down a little bit there, so he's in that lovely little pocket. Nearly an assist there for Declan Rice, and then he goes on a bit of a rampage himself. It's just that little slow down. It's such a difficult position to play. Obviously, I played there quite a bit, and
it's a difficult position. But if you look at him, how patient he is. He doesn't get rushed in, he doesn't get forced in, he's patient. Now he's in space, and now obviously a good first touch, good second touch takes him away, and a really good finish. So I think that position, we've seen him off the left a lot of the time for Crystal Palace. This position again, if you look, coming away from play.
He's moving away from that, and then as soon as he sees him, he'll go forward again, won't he? He's always in that position where nobody can pick him up. What a lovely... I thought that was the pick of the finish.
Is he something different to what Arsenal had last season?
Yeah, he is. He's different to what they've got, isn't he?
He is, and I think he's a big improvement to what they had last year. I think that's why Arsenal obviously went and snatched him off Tottenham when Tottenham were looking like they were going to sign him. But and again here, now look, he sees the space is in behind the midfield, and now he goes in and gets into the box. A good first touch and a fantastic finish. So to score a hat-trick on your North London debut is, stuff what teams are made of, really.
Could have been more as well, weren't Vincent? Not a bad effort.
Same
Great
position,
save.
hold himself
But it's the
back.
same thing. Virtually every goal is the same, Steve. Now, I've got to ask you about this one. This is a bit of you, this. I couldn't even kick it to the halfway line, let alone that far. Is he going for goal then?
Yeah, he's gone for goal, and
wow, that's the full length of the pitch.
If the keeper's on the halfway line, I think you've got a chance, but with the keeper being there, I don't think even I would have done that.
It's amazing what confidence can do. You think you can score from your own half or from your own penalty box. There's the touch map. I mean, he's everywhere, but I think we've already shown that he really comes alive when he's just bursting past that midfield and moving on to the back four, and then this pretty damning for the rest of the Premier League, isn't it?
Well, this is it. Teams with a 6 or more point lead after 12 matches, barring one, have always gone on to win the league. In the 02-03 season, it was Michael Owen's Liverpool that unfortunately relinquished top spot and finished outside of the top 4. They're the only ones who've defied history.
Yeah, and I can't see that happen again this season. I think Arsenal looks so strong, and the squad they've got and how good they're playing. I can only see them win the league this year.
Yeah, and considering, there was no Gyökeres yesterday, there was no Gabriel, they haven't had Ødegaard virtually all season, and nobody's really talking about that, are they? They're seamlessly churning out the results.
Exactly. I mean, they've scored a few goals yesterday, but I think they're based on a real solid defence. They've got a great goalkeeper, great defence. They don't concede hardly any goals. And they can obviously score. They're not so prolific, but they can score goals. And especially when Eze's in that form, then all of a sudden they've got a new string to the bow, haven't they? Ødegaard to come back, Gyökeres, as you say. They've got a good squad, strong defence, good manager. It just feels like it's their time at the moment.
Yeah, and after the 3 second-place finishes, you feel they've got the bit between their teeth and something extra to go and seal the deal.
Yeah, and you could see they've been building, getting in. They've been really unlucky in them the other seasons as well. They've come up against unbelievable Man City team, unbelievable Liverpool team. So they have been really unlucky, but I think this year is their year, and I can't see any other outcome than them win the league.
And City losing this weekend, City look the most likely to push them, don't they?
It was almost a perfect weekend again, wasn't it? I mean, I know Liverpool were a little bit off it, but I bet you they're still pleased to see them dropping points. Manchester City, the same. Who can challenge them? I mean, Chelsea got a strong result away from home the other day. They're their nearest challengers, but they're thin on the ground, aren't they? Arsenal look a cut above the rest at the moment. So.
They certainly do.
Yeah.
You'll be delighted to know we've run out of time, so I can't ask the question how your Liverpool team went from 1st to 5th in 2002-03. Wayne, great to see you. Thanks for being with us. Arsenal then 6.
How did Arsenal manage to create such superiority in the game, Jamie?
Well, they took advantage of a tactic that Thomas Frank used, not just at Tottenham, but at Brentford as well, where he likes to overload in wide areas. Now, this is what I'm talking about, and this is a perfect example, and every goal had an element of this in it. So what you've got now is Saka 1v1 against his defender. So Palhinha, again, this is a tactic Thomas Frank used at Brentford. The role is to get over here and try and lock the opposition onto this side here and not let them out. So it's 1v1. But the quality of Arsenal is so good. The pass from Saka into that space that we'll get back to, that finds Eze, and they should be 1-0 up within a few minutes of the game with Declan Rice. Now, this is the goal. Now, Bentancur and Palhinha in the middle. We talked about this space here, but he doesn't want this ball going back inside. He wants to bring the ball here. And Saliba has a couple of opportunities, but he's not quite sure doesn't think the opportunity is right. And again, that was a theme with Arsenal as well. If they don't think it's right, they come back out and start again. Again, he's in this position. Again, look, he's trying to show it here. He decides to take the pass. This time, Bentancur jumps. So again, they're bringing players over this side to try and lock Arsenal here. We mentioned Eze before when he made the chance for Declan Rice. Look at the space here again. This was a theme throughout the game. It's a Thomas Frank tactic, but Arsenal were far too good and played through them, had real quality here. You can't get pressure on the ball. The run from Trossard is fantastic, and they find themselves 1-0 up. But again, it comes from that situation on that side constantly.
Jamie, just 2 points. Look at the discipline. That is very easy to talk about how Arsenal found the space. Look at the discipline of the two wide of false number 9, Eze and Merino, 2 attackers that they will always look to have that mobility and have always a line of 3 10s. Arsenal's got the ball. Watch Merino. Just by that interchange of position, it just doesn't allow any Spurs players. You see it here. They can't get anywhere near. They can't mark. Just a turn. The player is allowed to go forward. It creates a 4v4 from a standing positional play action. Merino will get into the final third, as you would expect. The Spurs really compact, really working hard to try to condense the space. They get into the final third, and that is the moment that Arsenal were never going to force the play. Look at how well positioned, how condensed the Spurs structure is. But the decision of Zubimendi, the decision of Saliba, it was just to stretch and open the space. Look at just 2 passes, opens the forward line, Richarlison. Now this is where Arsenal created a numerical advantage.
So that comes, so that comes from basically, sometimes you hear supporters put the ball in the box. But actually, the pass that goes backwards is actually trying to entice them, and then you create more space.
So you were showing how they were trying to cover. So you don't want to leave players like Saka. You don't want to leave players in 1v1 situations. So once you create the cover, you're going to leave a space in another area. If you're going to penetrate and be very vertical with your attacks, I think the opposition are going to defend well. Here, what Arsenal did well is they managed and they control and they thought about every move. And here it comes the discipline again. The 2 wide players is a big difference if Trossard here is inside and is engaging 1 centre half. He is stopping the wide player to come in. Look at the 3 10s of Arsenal. The centre halves, they haven't got the opportunity to help the outnumbered midfielders, and this is constantly what Arsenal had, a clear direction of how to open the space in between lines of Spurs. From here, 3 centre halves marking nobody, creating a lot of work for the 2 midfielders. One more, we see it once more. The discipline, which is in the positional play of Arsenal, was fantastic. Now we're going to see a completely different rotation. Same players, the 3 10s. Here is Calafiori, Eze, and Merino. Saka, watch this movement, how to understand space and having that discipline of the 3 10s, but it will be Merino as a false number 9 that is going to be the wide player, allowing Saka to find space internally. Just watch how Spurs cannot fix any markers, cannot defend, and just Saka, with a lot of space, he can take his 1v1, but look at the space in the central area, as we mentioned, that was the area where Arsenal took advantage.
And that was just a constant theme, that space on the edge of the box. All the goals, the chances came from that. But the rotation of movements now, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Now, what they do, Arsenal here, and it's really important to keep an eye on Zubimendi and Rice. Rice is going into the back 3. Zubimendi is your hold midfield player, don't forget. Here's your 2 fullbacks, Timber, Calafiori on this side. Here's your 2 false, or your 2 number 10s, shall we say. Again, the 2 wide players fixing defenders at the back. But the rotation of movements, and don't forget, a few weeks ago we were on this show talking about the problem Thomas Frank's got going forward with Tottenham in terms of he can't quite get that rotation right. Let's not forget we're 6 or 7 years in with Mikel Arteta, a few months in with Thomas Frank. But this is absolutely out of this world. The movement and interchanging of positions is fantastic. So we've seen Zubimendi, the hold midfield player, on the edge of the box. He now finds himself high up the pitch. We've seen Declan Rice. Declan Rice is just coming into midfield now. He's been part of the back 3. And when you see the positions here, great again from Saka and Timber, but just as this cross is coming in, Timber, there's Zubamendi, your hold midfield player. Let's not forget, at the start of this clip, we highlighted Zubamendi on the edge of his own box. You've now got these two players, Moreno and Eze, in the positions we've highlighted right throughout these clips, on the edge of the box, in space, and there's your left-back coming in at the far post in the left-wing position. The actual movement of players for Arsenal, interchanging the positions, is absolutely fantastic. Timber crosses the ball in, and again, that space is there. Brilliant first-time pass from Declan Rice. And that is absolutely brilliant. But that comes from the interchanging of positions constantly.
But look at Jamie. We're going to show Eze a hat-trick scorer, a hat-trick hero. Look at the responsibility of the ball. What was impressive from his performance was that engagement. Look at that. He's prepared now to sprint to the centre half after stopping that internal pass. And now he's going to carry on to the goalkeeper. An attitude that we've seen on players like Dembélé winning the Ballon d'Or. Look at the engagement, a creative player, a player that has scored 3 goals. But here in this Arsenal side, Mikel Arteta has created a competitive edge that everybody who's on the pitch need to have that attitude. Watch him here. The ball goes played internally. It will follow the midfielder. He's doing a job for his team. Real focus, understanding that in football, in the modern game, you need to be complete in order to win games. And that was probably the most impressive aspect of that performance.
So with Portugal, you now manage some of the biggest names in world football, certainly in attacking players. How difficult is it to get them to sort of buy into the defensive side of the game?
I don't think it's difficult. I think we.
Or is it a must now? Is there no?
It is a must, because what we're talking about is that you don't need to be good at the defensive actions about winning the ball back. What you have to be committed is that intention of helping the team. Nowadays, we've seen it probably Paris Saint-Germain winning the Champions League. They are a team that off the ball probably the strongest than any. And this is the commitment that the players, the modern players, understand, that if you want to be an important player in any team, you need to have that attitude. We're not saying about being good defensively, but you need to have that attitude of being able to be accountable for your team when you lose the ball.
Thank you, Roberto. I thought that was absolutely fascinating, the two of you, and to see all the different layers that go into a performance like that in such a big game, the North London derby. I think Arsenal fans would have loved that as well. But what did they make of it in the box?